Hey everyone, this is Stephen. It's the 8th of February 2017. We've had a huge start to the year here at Flowxo. Everybody wants to talk to us about a chatbot, and rightly so. I think they're definitely the technology for 2017. Huge thank you for joining us today. I'm going to show you how to get your very own chatbot in place and let it help you make more sales and cut down on customer service people hours in February and for the rest of the year. So, an official welcome to Flowxo's Getting Started webcast, where we'll get you up and running with Flowxo with an introduction to its key features and benefits, specifically in relation to its broadcast service for marketing, its messaging service for contacting human agents in real time. That one's really important. We're going to human augment the bot for maximum effectiveness, and we're going to look at how to collect data through a conversational form. We'll be looking at launching the bot on Facebook Messenger primarily, and then launching access to the same bot as a custom widget on your website, as well as providing a full-fledged web messenger directly embedded in your own website or landing page. You'll see that a core strength of the Flowxo platform is our cross-platform focus, where the web messenger is an extension of social media messengers that are out there. You just need to build a bot once and have it present everywhere. If there's anything specific you'd like to see today, just get into live chat now. I've been talking to one or two of you over in YouTube live chat, or drop a note in our community, speak to us on Facebook. If you haven't been to any of those places yet, I'll be sure to give you a link at the end. Okay, so by this point you'll have signed up for a Flowxo account and you'll have connected your messenger bot. Let us know if you're having any trouble with that, either right now in live chat or again pass us a note in our community and we'll get you up and running. A quick reminder, what is Flowxo? Well, first of all, it's the future of business messaging, of course. It says it right there over my shoulder, so you know that it's true. But in more direct terms, Flowxo is a complete platform for building, hosting and managing chatbots for messaging platforms such as Messenger, Slack and Telegram. It includes a visual editor to build bots without code. Everything is driven by a set of flows which you build with certain tasks. You can create and distribute your own bots, which are owned and branded by you, but controlled and hosted by Flowxo. I'm running this cast live so that I can maximize your time and provide everything you need to get started right in this session. Let us solve any queries or give any guidance you need right away. Again, there's live chat over in YouTube, so by all means get talking to the team and I over on the right there. Let's get down to business and get onto my desktop. So my example business for today is the Mortgage Store, who are the home of the Mortgage Bot. Now, the Mortgage Store are a typical mortgage broker who are regulated to advise customers on mortgage loans, and they have this Facebook page in place. Just a little bit more context. The Mortgage Store simply want to communicate with customers better, provide a more engaging experience, divert basic queries away from the resource-intensive phone line, and ultimately write more business. If you got my email, you should have your bot in place by now, a messenger open and ready to go, as well as Google Sheets, Gmail, and of course Flowxo. We'll take a close look at that setup in a few minutes, but first let's dive right in and take a look at our bot in action. I'm going to launch him completely fresh here, so that you can see that clicking Get Started is going to give us a specific message to welcome new first-time customers. So Get Started here passes the start keyword. And you can see here that he's introduced himself, but he wants to get right to the point. He knows what his purpose is and he's given us these option buttons. So he's asking us if we'd like to get a quote, talk to a human, or subscribe to some updates. However, it's important that it can handle some basic conversation. So I'm going to say hello. And you can see here he's responded correctly, but he wants to get right to the point again. He greets us, but he wants us to get into his menu and answer things that he's been programmed to handle. But I'm more interested if he knows his name. I'm going to be mischievous and type in a question rather than click for the menu that he's offered. Okay, so you can see he can easily counter that too. And he's constantly directing us back into the bot's purpose through the menu, which is the whole point of having the bot out there. It's really easy to set up this basic conversational small talk and capture any and all things that are thrown at the bot. We'll look at some flows in a moment so you can see how easy it was to put this together. Just a final try here to stress this point. We'll ask him to tell us a joke. And you can see that's well handled again. We're not here to mess around, we're here to do business. So let's get on with it and click for the menu. So let's build some context out here. Let's imagine that I'm the customer and I'm visiting the mortgage store's bot. And I want an update on my mortgage inquiry. Now, whilst case updates could in fact be handled by the bot, I'm more interested in what the human broker has to say. I'm desperate to complete on my mortgage deal. So I'm going to select Talk to a Human, which is offered here. And you can see here, I've actually run into a little bit of a problem. We've returned some standard small talk or helper text. Unfortunately, that's not a flow that's in place yet. So let's go and resolve that. So here I am at the flow dashboard. And just a quick look around about what's going on here. These are my flows that are active. And over on the left here, you can see I've got a set of folders where I can arrange my flows, which is great for managing what the bot does, tweaking functionality, or organising flows for different events, or even different customers if you're managing multiple people's accounts. Just a quick shout out to this feature here. There's a referral link, and if you encourage your friends to use the platform via social media, you can earn rewards in the way of extra interactions and bots or flows. So let's have a look at resolving our issue, speaking to a human agent. I'm going to hit New Flow. I'm going to click Talk to a Human to install this templated flow right away. We'll turn on our workflow. Looking down the tasks, I can just see there's just one that has a problem with a missing output. So I'm going to resolve that. And you can see here, I can select from the FlowXO outputs if I like, but instead I know what my email address is, so I'm just going to enter it here. That's all the tasks satisfied. I just need to again make sure this workflow is turned on. Over in Messenger, this time when I ask to speak to a human, talk to a human, I'll be taken through this conversation, and you can see here that I'm told that somebody will be back to me in a few working hours. I then have the option to send another message if I'd like to. Over in Gmail, you can see I've received an email. So this is from the perspective of the agent at the mortgage store, sitting, waiting for messages to arrive. You can see here that this is the message that was sent to me from the customer, and I can then hit reply. And having replied as the agent over in Messenger, that message is seeded directly back into the platform. So from the customer's perspective, they haven't had to leave Messenger. They're entirely inside this dark social platform. So this is an individual conversation between the customer and the bot, which is a representative of the business. So the only person that can see this conversation is the customer and the business that owns the bot. Just a little bit of elaboration here. I've used Gmail. However, I could have used Freshdesk, Salesforce.com, Help Scout, or any other support or ticketing software where I can route emails. All I need is an email address to send those messages to from the Messenger channel. The agent can pick them up and route them directly back into Messenger. So you can get complete customer ticketing management through FlowXO and this Messenger channel if you like. So you can see that just in a few minutes, minus my elaboration, we've got a fully human augmented bot in place by the use of that FlowXO template. There are lots of templates here to explore, and we'll look at least one more in this webcast. Okay, so back to our scenario. Let's make sure that I've made the best choice before I commit to any deal that this human agent might come back to me with. Let's get another quote and stay on top of the market. First last for the menu. And I'm going to choose get a quote. But you can see I've run into the same problem again. It's a good job that these additional flows are so easy to put in place, so let's go and resolve this again. The difference this time, however, is that we're going to build this custom flow together. I'm going to go into this folder here, the forms folder. I'm going to click edit. Now I've got my trigger in place here. You can see I'm triggering on the keyword or phrase quote, just so that I remember later. I can turn this workflow on right away. And instantly, what I suggest you do, and we're going to do in this flow, is always respond to the customer right away. So we're going to send a message back right away, just to make sure that this conversation we're having is kept engaging and the user knows that we're ready to have a conversation and we're ready to resolve their query. So let's say, let me take some more information. We'll then use the ask a question action, and we'll say, I have your name down as, and we're going to use a FlowXO output here. So I'm going to select the little FlowXO icon here on the right, and you can see all of the possible outputs that I can use from earlier in the flow are presented to me. Now at this stage we're very early in the flow and we're limited to the things that I've got back from Facebook directly. One of the useful things I do get is the user's name, so I can address this person directly by their name. All I need to do is click from the output list and that'll be inserted in the right place. And onto the question. I'm going to ask for an email address. A note here on validation. So I'm going to validate the answer that is given to me from the customer, from the person visiting the bot. I want to make sure they give me an email address back. Just a note, we've done some extra work around validation just recently, and very soon we'll be pushing out some extra validation that you can do so that answers can be taken in the form my email is, and then the email address given. At the moment, I'm just going to have to give an email address directly. We'll ask another question. We'll take the cell number or the mobile number, and we're going to validate this on a number. So the response that we get must be a number. We'll ask one final question here. I have a little bit of pre-prepared text here, just because I'd like to insert an emoji as well, just to keep this nice and friendly. I'm going to ask for the person's salary and give a thumbs up. And we'll want to validate this again as a number. Next in this flow, I'm going to use a FlowXO helper task. I'm going to use the number service, and I'm going to perform a calculation. The expression is, I'm going to use the FlowXO outputs again here. I'm going to take the answer that we got to the last question, which was about the salary, and I'm going to multiply it by 4.5 times, which is a typical mortgage lending criteria. Again, let's keep this interaction engaging. So let's send a message back to the user now that we've got all the information that we need. We won't keep them waiting. And the message I'm going to send back, again, just a little bit of pre-prepared text here. I'm going to give them back a little message incorporating the result of that calculation that we just performed. I'm going to click Save again. Now I'm going to do two more important things. One we've already seen, but it's so important I'm going to include it again, which is using the messaging service for contacting a human agent. But first, I'm going to use a FlowXO service integration. Now you can see here, running down the page, we already incorporate over 100 services that you can directly integrate into your flows and pass information back and forth in conversation with the customer. I'm going to use Google Sheets here, and the reason I'm going to use Google Sheets is because it's a great proxy for a CRM system or a database in the background, so you've got complete interaction with your CRM that you're already using. Google Sheets is just a really light way of demonstrating how it might work in your CRM or database. I'm going to use the add a row action, and I just need to choose leads or marketing messages, my worksheet of new customer, and you can see here I've generated some inputs. Now the really important thing to understand is that this is my Google Sheet, and you can see that having set that up, FlowXO can recognize what the column headers are in that spreadsheet. So back in FlowXO, it's automatically generated the inputs for me, so I can add a new row into that sheet. Now we know that the name came directly back from Facebook, so there's the username. The email was the answer to the first question. Mobile was the answer to the second question. The salary was the answer to the third question. And the mortgage amount, which we calculated, was the result of that calculation operation there. I'll save that. And again, as I alluded to just a moment ago, we're going to use the messaging service again here because we've just generated a hot new lead that's asking for a quote, so it makes sense to route this probably to a different agent, somebody in sales that's going to jump on this lead and try and close it right away, because we know that we've got a hot lead here. So I'm going to use the same email address just for demonstration, but you can imagine that this is going to go to a sales inbox rather than to my support inbox. The subject is a new hot lead. Let's make it exciting. And again, just a tiny bit of pre-prepared text. We're just going to put two outputs in here so the human agent knows how to address the customer. We'll give the username, and so the sales agent knows the size of the deal. We'll also give the result of that calculation, the mortgage amount again. And I'll save. Again, this workflow's on, so let's go over into Messenger, and this time when I ask to get a quote, you can see I've recognized that quote keyword right away. Just filling out the answers here. And the response byte this time includes that calculation that we made in the response. We've also been told that somebody will be in touch in a few minutes, so let's get over into our inbox. There's the message that we asked to be sent. So again, imagine that this has been routed to the mortgage store, into a sales inbox, into the person, the broker responsible for putting this deal together. He'll want to reply right away. And he'll send that back into the messenger channel, and he can strike up a conversation directly in that interface, directly in that private interface with the customer. Second big thing to note, you can see here now over in my Google Sheet, all the details have been logged. So again, this is a proxy for my database, my CRM system, Insightly or Capsule CRM or absolutely anything, and I've logged this lead through a conversational form. So rather than having this person going to a web form, filling out half of it and getting bored, they've had a conversation with the bot, and we've captured that information in the background in exactly the same way. But we've converted far more leads because we've used the conversational form rather than a flat web form. Okay, so let's pick up our scenario again. Let's ask for the menu. I've now had a quote. I might have had a little bit of a conversation with the mortgage broker, but I'm more interested in getting some updates on mortgage products for the future that I might eventually purchase. I know that interest rates move around a lot. The quote wasn't quite right, wasn't quite to my liking, and I'm not ready to dive in just yet, but I might like to revisit when rates are right in the future. So let's subscribe here. I'm going to subscribe to updates. And I would like to subscribe to regular offers on remortgages. And I'm told here I've been subscribed. So let's now take a look at the flow that powers that interaction. You can see here it's the subscribe flow. I'm triggering on the keyword subscribe. I'm then asking a question, which is which product would you like to subscribe to regular offers on? Now the difference here from previous questions that we've asked is that we are looking for the we're offering a choice in the question type rather than text. That's important because it allows me to give those option buttons that we saw a few minutes ago, and we can make sure we know what the answer is going to be. Next in this flow, I'm going to use the attributes, set an attribute action. Now attributes are really important for control flow, for making sure that your flows operate in the way that you want them to. Attributes can act like a counter. How many times somebody visited the bot, or a flag, somebody said a specific word. It's a simple key value store in the background. It's important to note that these attributes, they're specific to each customer and based on the response path here. They're available in the trigger of every flow. That's going to be important in the next flow that we look at in a few moments. Just a note here, however, that I've logged against the product interest for this customer the answer that they gave us a moment ago. So we said remortgage, so I've logged that as the product that this specific customer is interested in. So let's look now at actually getting information out to our customers. We're going to use the broadcast service. It's here that we're sending out the marketing messages. Just an important note, this service will send to absolutely everyone that has the bot installed by default. Of course, that's great. One trigger like an email, a webhook, or an RSS feed item being received by this trigger, and all of our users, all of our customers can get the content. We do need to make great use of FlowXO filters, however, in order to segregate our marketing and direct messages to relevant customers. So I'll click edit here just to demonstrate that. You can see here that I'm looking for two outputs. First of all, the product that I'm going to send to this trigger is my remortgage offers, and also that the product that the customer was interested in is also remortgage. So I'm not going to send this customer information on first time buyer mortgages. They're only interested, I only want to send to this customers, to those customers that are interested in remortgages. Let's save this. And I'm going to use a webhook here. You saw that this broadcast trigger was powered by a webhook. Don't worry too much about these if you haven't used them. I've just used it here to demonstrate how easy it is to get information in and out of FlowXO. From any web connected app, you can trigger a workflow and use the data that's sent from that app in your flow, and therefore in conversation with the customer. Again, of course, you can webhook out too. So here's the webhook that I want to send. And you can see here, it's already flashed up in Messenger, but if I go to the logs, these are all the users that are filtered out because these users weren't interested in remortgages, but these that have completed successfully, these are the ones that were interested in remortgages. So we've sent the remortgage information through to them. So again, you'll be glad to know that you can also trigger this broadcast service with an email or by consuming an existing RSS feed. I know that over in chat I was talking to Eli earlier, and he was interested in triggering this broadcast like the CNN bot based on an RSS feed. So we absolutely can do that. I'm going to show you exactly how we can do that now. You'll be glad to know there's a template. So this is going to be a couple of clicks to set up. I'm going to hit newsfeed here. I'm going to turn it on. And by default, we've got it we've got this flow monitoring the BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation website here in the UK. I'm going to save, and for the end of this webcast I'm sure we'll see some messages pushed through to us. So let's just start to tidy up here. Let's have a look at some finishing touches. First, let's have a look at the small talk and the welcome and help flows. They're both templates which I altered very slightly to our process, but these are one-click install and you're up and running in about 30 seconds. Welcome and help to start with. Just a note that this starts with a catch-all trigger, and this trigger allows us to capture any circumstance where we don't recognize a word or phrase that's been said to the bot. So if I've set up a flow with the word quote on it, that will be recognized and it won't trigger this catch-all, but any words that I say that aren't recognized will trigger this flow by virtue of the catch-all. Next in this flow, I'm going to use the code service. The code service is a powerful way to do, well, whatever it is you want really. It can make requests to other apps or services that FlowXO doesn't support inherently, those services we looked at earlier. It can perform custom manipulations or calculations on data, and it can use the output in conversation with the customer. We've used a really simple example here, but the options are limitless. If you want to interact with your CRM, your calling or dialer system, or any other web-connected app, you can do it with this service. Be sure to talk to us about that one to see how you can get the best out of it. You can see here, again, simple example, I'm just parsing out the customer's first name from the full name that Facebook gives to us. And you can see here then I'm going on to manage what I say when somebody first connects to the bot and when we generally just don't understand what's been said to us. Over in the small talk flow, you see here I've captured lots of possible words or phrases, but I've also grouped them. So this makes it really easy when it comes to filtering further down in the flow, as I can filter based on the group name and respond in the same way to similar words or phrases. So for instance, greeting here, in the first action, I want to always respond with this message to something that sounds like a greeting, and I've filtered on greeting based on the group there. Just another note, I'm also going to stop the flow if this condition's met. So obviously if I know that this is a greeting and the first time somebody's spoken to us, I don't want to continue with the rest of the actions in this flow, which capture other scenarios. Okay, so we've got a really great bot there in about 25 minutes. Again, minus my elaboration, you could have probably set this up in about 5 minutes. What we want to do now is put this bot in the reach of all of our potential customers, not just those on Facebook Messenger. So first of all, by creating a widget here and hitting get code, you can see I'm given a little bit of JavaScript here. All I need to do is put that into my website, into my landing page, anywhere that I host some HTML. It's again, about 30 seconds work for a web developer. If you don't manage your own website, just give them that bit of code, and on your website or landing page you'll get a little pop-up just like that and give people the option to launch into Facebook Messenger, into SMS, into Telegram or Slack or anywhere else that you've hosted the bot. So that's the first thing to be aware of. But more excitingly, I'm going to launch our web messenger now directly inside my website. You can see here slightly more text this time, slightly more JavaScript, but the idea is the same. Just copy this out and pass it to your web developer and paste it into your web page, and this will allow you to launch a fully fledged web messenger directly inside your website. And you can see here we saw this in Facebook Messenger. It's exactly the same bot doing exactly the same things, capturing exactly the same details, but it means that your presence with this bot is everywhere. So no matter how the customer tries to contact you, they'll always be able to get hold of the bot and give you their details. So again, you can see here we've got the basis of a really good bot. It's well distributed, it's full featured, we have some marketing functions in place with the broadcast service, and we're able to point out options to brand new customers right away. We can respond where we don't understand a particular message with some small talk. We've looked at data collection and configuring human interaction directly through the bot with the messaging service. Obviously they're both very powerful customer service and sales tools. So this is it, crunch time. I hope you've seen how easy it is to get started, and you've got some of your own ideas about what you'd like to build next. Here's what FlowXO pricing looks like. So for only $19 a month, you can build 15 bots or flows and accommodate 5,000 interactions. There's no contract, no tie-in period, and you can downgrade to a free plan at any time. Because you have been kind enough to watch today, I'd like to make you a special offer, which is that, first of all, for the custom flow that we built out and the Google Sheet, there are links there, and if you take those down and enter them into your browser, you'll be able to install that flow and install that sheet, so you can get the quote workflow up and running for yourself right away. To get everything in place that we've looked at today, you will need more than 5 flows that are available on the free edition of FlowXO. So I'm also going to give you your first month free if you sign up in the next 24 hours. You just have to use the coupon code FREE0617 when you sign up. Some extra special news just for February. If you use that coupon right now, I'll also throw in a 15-minute Skype call within the next 7 days, so we can discuss all your ideas and I can tell you how I think you can really make your bot effective and get it up and running right away. I'm not going to be offering that very often, but I'm hoping to get some really great bots launched in this first quarter of 2017. So again, with no time period, that means you can completely de-risk your bot launch. Don't forget, this video is going to be online for a short while later, so you can get those links if you need them. Just a free resources to be aware of. We have extensive help docs in our support center at support.flowxo.com. We've got a lively community where we get involved here with the team, but also other users discuss what they're trying to achieve and give us some feedback. It's worth having a look there for some more ideas, discussing with the rest of the community. And we also have a constructive blog over at medium.com/flowxo. Just the newest article here, posted by our MD John. LearnHowMatch.com is leading the latest web conversion trend. Very appropriate in the lead up to Valentine's Day. I think that the first really good dating bot is going to take the world by storm, so we'll see who manages to come out with that one. So thanks again for watching. I've really enjoyed building out that bot with you today. Please get signed up and tell me more about your use case. I'm going to be on live chat now and continue the conversation in YouTube. I'd be delighted to help you get started building out your bot. I will be running this session weekly, so feel free to come and watch again if you like. The core content's not going to change, but if you have a specific case, let me know and I can build that into the session. I am going to be running another video series soon too. Make sure you hit subscribe to the YouTube channel to keep up to date with all FlowXO's newest releases and also any other video series that we do. So get in touch. I'd love to hear from you. Remember to use the coupon today and we can get a 15-minute call booked in as soon as this afternoon. Really looking forward to getting you started. See you all soon.